lot of businesses, they find themselves in a situation where they might hire their first salesperson or first marketing person. The problem is, though, that unless you've got the DNA in the organization to actually do those.
G'day, you're watching Rise and Shine, your business tech boost with me, Charly Latham. I have been in technology for over 40 years and I've been running Ask Charly Latham for nearly 2 decades. People hire me so they can do what they do best, which is run their businesses. I like to handle the tech that keeps everything running. This podcast gives you practical advice you can actually use, straight talk about what works and what doesn't work. Today, I'm talking with Matthew Whyatt, and I didn't check if that was how he pronounced his name, so I'm sure he'll correct me.
Nailed it.
We're going to get into some really real stuff here. So welcome, Matthew. Thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure, Charly.
Thank you so much. So, Matthew, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I will note that people will notice that we have the same accent, which is very unusual on my podcast. I often get a lot of Americans come through. But I think Matthew's actually going to clear up where he's actually talking to me from as well.
Yes, so I'm speaking to you from Princeton, New Jersey. I moved here about 4 months ago, and people ask me why I moved. And the answer is, well, because it was here. It's not Mount Everest that we climbed because it was there, but we just thought, you know what, it's time for another adventure. My kids want to go to a university over here, and so, well, might as well get them finishing high school as well. So my name is Matthew Whyatt. I help software and technology companies and software and SaaS businesses more specifically sell more to the right people. Started my first tech business when I was 22, grew that to a reasonable level of success, exited that, tried to retire at the age of just almost 40, and lived in Bali for a year. That really didn't take. And then so I've been working with various technology businesses and other businesses to help them codify their marketing and selling process, because many businesses that I work with are founder-led sellers, businesses, and so I help them put in place systems, process, procedure, scripts, mechanics of how they can actually sell more to the right people. And the right people is one of the key important parts of what we do, is because many technology people and many people out there go, well, we can help everybody. And when you're too broad, when you're not really focused on one person, you're not focused on any person. And so that's one of the first things I want to share with the audience today is if you've got a specific, we call it in marketing, we call it buyer persona. But if you just think about who do I really like doing business with, that's the sort of person you want to sell more to, because the market is usually unlimited, certainly here in America, but the market is big enough. And if you're specific enough, you can charge enough to make a really good living. So that's what I do. I help people sell more to the right people.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. And I love that you want to lead from there, because that's really where most businesses need to start, is who is their target audience. I also love that you mentioned how wide the market is, because I see a lot of people say to me, oh, my market's I don't say, they don't necessarily say it to me, but I see people saying my market is saturated. I'm like, I don't think your market is as saturated as you think it is. So why don't we start there and explain why a market may not be as saturated as we think it is?
Yeah, look, I think that what I keep coming across is the more general you are, the faster it is a race to the bottom when it comes to pricing. And so what happens is if you're really broad, you're going to find yourself competing against a whole bunch of people who can also a bit really broad. But if you're the person that specifically who's in Dubbo, who's the left-handed screwdriver person who only does hot water systems, well, then if somebody's got a hot water system with a left-handed screwdriver, you're going to be the person. You can charge them many thousands of dollars to fix that problem because you're the specific expert in that. And what I find is many clients are we just do electrics. One of the things is hot water systems. Well, then you're going to find yourself just competing with everybody. So the more narrow you get, the more you can focus on your right customer and the more you can charge. And so very rarely is the market saturated, or we're going to miss out on this and miss out on that. There's never been a time in which a customer has narrowed their focus that they've actually lost money. They've always made more money. And so it's not just talking about, we help transport companies in Tamworth, but it might be we help transport companies with refrigerated trucks in Tamworth for long haul And you start getting super specific because, as I said, the more specific you are, the more the customer feels called out, because customers never think that their problem or their business is generic. So you offering a generic marketing message to somebody who thinks they're specific is going to be a mismatch, and they're not going to want to buy from you. Or if they do, they're going to ask you for a discount. It's going to be a problem.
Yeah, and then someone else is going to come along behind you and say, well, they said they can do it for this much. I'll do it for 10% less or 20% less. And you are, as you said, it's a race to the bottom. You're really, really trying to scrape everything out of it, where you specialize in something. This is something you really know. You know it inside out. You know the guy next to you doesn't know it inside out, and they're just going to do a really dodgy job. And in the end, they may come back to you and you're going to have to fix it up. And you're not going to get as much money anyway, because now you got to fix it up and they've not got the money to spend with you. That's normally my experience with this, particularly as someone who comes in to fix up jobs. It's like, yeah, I know you've just spent $20,000 on a website and now you need it fixed up, and I want to charge you another $6 or $7 or $8 or $10,000 to fix it. It hurts. It hurts a lot.
That's right. That's right. And one of the great challenges here is if you're not putting yourself out there as with specific expertise, then you're not going to be found. So if you don't build that brand, if you don't spend the time and energy speaking about the issues with transport companies out of Tamworth that do long haul refrigerated hauling, well, then you're going to not be able to be found when somebody has that particular issue. So one of the biggest things that I teach my clients, first of all, is to think about how can you start the sale before the sale begins. And so and Google's even calling it the messy middle now. So people become problem aware and they go looking online. And if you can be the person who's out there communicating about that specific problem continually, if you're being interviewed on podcasts, if you're communicating about the issue and you're constantly providing solutions for free or guidance for free to the market, then you're going to be able to be at top of the search, top of even ChatGPT is now providing search for clients and providing answers for clients. And so that gives you the ability. So building that brand around you. So the messy middle happens, they become problem aware, and they go around the internet, they look at various things, and they might go see you on Insta or Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever your thing might be. And then they get to making a decision. Now, I actually had this exact situation. Sorry to monologue here, but I was messaged by a guy on LinkedIn just the other day that said, hi, and just straight up first connection. Hi, Matthew, we do financial services for high net worth individuals and business owners. Let me know if you're interested. And then one day later, and I was like, I don't know this person. One day later, he goes, let me know if that's not of interest. I'm thinking, okay, cool. Now you've given me a job and you've made me problem aware. And funnily enough, I actually do need financial services. I'm in a new country, but I'm not going to go with the guy who sent me a 2-line message. So what did I do? I gave it a Google. I found the person who's been on podcasts and writing articles about this particular issue. I found the person who can understand Australians in America, tax resident of America now, all of these things. And guess whose funnel I'm in now? Not the original guy that said, gave me a job of telling him I'm not interested. I'm now in the funnel of the guy that's actually put information out there and made the effort and has as a personal online brand. So as I was typing my email into the guys to get his download, I thought to myself, this guy who sent me a crappy marketing message, he's actually promoted his competition. He's
doing his competition's work for him. Yep.
He's making me problem aware, so therefore I've gone looking for it elsewhere. And so that's so important when you think about, we do tree lopping in Dubbo. So what? You might need tree lopping in Dubbo, but if you go do a quick Google and see Google reviews and this person's got 1,000 5-star reviews, you're going with that guy. So trust. So I say this to my clients all the time: is businesses are built at the speed in which you can build and transfer trust. And build trust, because there's so many options out there. You can build trust, but transferring trust is through testimonials and video and communicating your core value on whatever platform you choose.
Now, I absolutely love that, because that's something that I say a lot in all of like when people are talking to me and throughout my podcast, it's like people will deal with people they know, like, and trust.
Yep.
you've got to let them know you. You've got to get them to actually like you. They're not going to deal with you if they hate you. If they look at your face and want to do something nasty, they're not going to deal with you. And then they have to trust you. They've got to trust you to be able to give you that money or give you that job. And there are so many bad actors out there that trust becomes harder and harder to build, or theoretically it becomes harder and harder to build unless you know what you're doing. Now, there's a couple of things there that you said. One was the guy contacted you on LinkedIn, and I really hate it. Like, you just get these messages like, yeah, can we connect with you? Yes. And the next thing, you've got a sales message in your inbox trying to tell you on something that you may or may not need. They don't know your business. They don't know you. They haven't taken the time to work out who you are or what your pain points are. They're just selling you on a generic pain point saying, can we do business? And my answer generally is no. Now, I'm sure they...
Well, you answer. That's very kind of you.
Sometimes... Sometimes, most times I just delete it, but sometimes I'm like, no. And I'm sure they're sitting there very confused as to why they don't get the answers back. So why don't we talk about the importance of sales and the importance of sales to business owners? I know you talk a lot about tech founders and stuff, but it kind of goes across the board. So why don't we talk about
it? Totally
that?
Does. And the reason I focus on software and technology, software and SaaS businesses is simply that's my background. As I said, I started my first tech business in 1999, so that's 100,000 years ago. And I've done work in real estate, and I've done work in retail. I've done work in a whole bunch of different areas and service businesses. But I like tech. I enjoy tech, so why wouldn't I? Why, once again, narrow myself down? I only want to deal with businesses of this, in this nature, this style, in this price range, with this type of founder, super specific, super narrow, and it's doing okay.
Excellent.
Sorry, what was your question? So once again, thank you for joining my TED talk about me. But what was your question?
Let me re-prompt that. I'll re-enter the prompt here.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about sales for small businesses and why, or for businesses in general, but particularly small businesses. We're talking about founder-led businesses because they're small, they've got a small budget, and I will guarantee you that if you say to a founder who's trying to run their own business, you need to get good at sales, their first statement out of their mouth will be, I hate sales. I hate it.
Look, I hate plumbing only because I'm very bad at it and I don't do it very often. So why would it be? And I've got no structure or framework or thinking about plumbing. So why would anybody expect me to be a good plumber? Same as the plumber who comes to my house, and I can't expect them to be good at sales. But I can give you some. I'll give you some tips. So first of all, recognize the problem. So in any time that you need to change something, you first of all need to identify the issue. And we renovated our house before we sold it recently. And many of the tradespeople that came in, and I'm sure that they were qualified, I'm sure they were capable, walked in and we asked them a question. Tyler's, for example, walked in, sucked his teeth, about 15 grand. I'm like, I don't know. I have no context or framework, whether that's a good price, bad price, whatever. The one that got the job came in and said, okay, so what you're seeing here is this. And what I would recommend is that. And in my previous job, I did this, this, and this, and how that worked was this. And so you've got choices around this, this, and this, and these are the things that could go wrong. Oh, well, some of the things that could go wrong with this, you see that leveling there? That could be a real issue. And how I would normally deal with that is A, B, and C. He spent 25 minutes telling me about the things that could go. And so how does that work? And he went over and had a bit of a look and dug around. And as he's having a conversation with me, he's poking at the floor and he's having conversations and obviously qualifying us. He said, okay, well, how we charge is we do it like this, this, and this, and it's 15 grand. And I went, well, that all makes sense.
It does,
Great.
Right?
So first of all, recognizing that just throwing a number out there is terrible practice. Second of all, share some of your expertise, but don't bamboozle the person with technicalities. Don't tell me don't look at me like, well, you need to shore up that screed formatting, flux capacitor. I'm like, I don't know what that is. So don't talk to me like I'm a tradesperson, but speak to me as if you're explaining it to somebody who has no idea what you're talking about. And that's a good way to start. Take them through the challenges, take them through the issues, explain to the customer how you approach the job, and explain to them the process you go through. and you'll so there's businesses that I've spoken to that go through, and then also you've got to build and transfer that trust. How do you do that? Literally, the one that gets the job is the one that walks in with this guy had his Google reviews printed out, literally printed out in a folder he bought from Officeworks, and it was in a one of those plastic sheets things. And goes, so when I'm dealing with clients, I get quite a lot of 5-star reviews, and he's flipping the book, all 5-star reviews. And I go, oh, this guy actually knows what he's doing, and so he's going through his testimonial book. And so now, and I love that. I go, well, this guy's qualified because he's explained some process. He's trusted by other people, so it makes sense for me to trust him as well. And that's how you do it. That's how you do founder-led sales. Is you build and transfer trust, and you explain part of your process and make it easy for the person to buy and be really clear, because the person wants to know how much and when.
So what you're saying here is it's not the sell me a pencil type approach. It's not the you've got to be there and rah and all the little gimmicks to get people to emotionally commit to something, and all of those things that people think sales is. I mean, for us, sales is about developing rapport and letting people know we can do the job.
That's right. And also, people aren't calling a tree lopper to their home for a haircut. They're calling a tree lopper there because they've probably got trees they probably want lopped. So you're already halfway to the deal anyway. It's for you to lose. And I'm talking about services businesses. And so if we're talking founder-led sales, so am I aiming at the right market for you, or do you want me to talk about somebody who's doing advertising and generating leads that way, Charlie? So I was talking at the owner-operator level.
People who sell to B2C, business to customer, is a really good place to start. There's a few B2B people that listen in, but most of them are business to consumer. Most of them will be services businesses. I mean, they may be hairdressers, they may be actual, VAs or tech people like myself or yourself. And it's about how do they get people across the board. And if we want to then talk about B2B, there's not a hell of a lot of difference about going B2C to B2B when we're doing that sort of thing. There's a couple of extra things we need to do, but let's start there.
Yeah, so B2C is just figure out how you can build and transfer trust. That is, if all you do is that. If all you do is every time you speak with and so the job that your listeners could do today is think back over the last 12 to 18 months or even 2 years of who have I done work for and who's got the result that they wanted. Call them up and say, hey, I'm going to pop you a quick email to my Google review link. Would you mind spending 5 minutes writing a quick Google review? I'd really appreciate it. And if you did that, went back 2 years, asked everybody, you might get 10, 20, some number, whatever it is. And at the end of every job, you can go to any marketing agency or even Google, a little QR code thing. And whilst you're getting the person to finish up your QR code, look, would you mind scanning your QR code and leaving me a review? They go, oh, their phone, and then and you can write a review on there, on the spot, and it's done. And also the other key thing there with Google reviews is respond to those Google reviews, because Google wants to see engagement. Yes. So, and even if it's a terrible Google review, hey, I'm sorry, I'm going to message you and see if we can help another way. Like, figure out a way to play in the open. And so that's the key there. And if you walk in and go, hey, it's crazy Matt's tiling and rug emporium here, and I'm going to do some tiling in your house. I have absolutely no people skills whatsoever, because I'm the best tiler in the world, but I have no people skills. You just go, hey, here's my list of Google reviews. I'm pretty good at my job. I'm more than happy to do a good job for you as well. You're going to be 10 million. You'll be a million miles in front of the next person.
People will eat that up because, I mean, it sounds like there's a degree of arrogance in it, but it's not. It's actually very humble. It's a very humble way of coming in and doing it by saying, look, I don't talk to people real good. Yeah, see, I don't talk to people real good, but I do good tiling.
Yep.
Now, you
Yep.
mentioned the Google reviews. You're talking about the Google My Business reviews, aren't you?
Yep.
So how do you recommend people, for example, like myself, because I'm a digital nomad, when I went to change my address on my Google business, they actually closed my business down and said, well, you don't have a physical address. We can't help you. And I'm seeing a lot of businesses in Australia getting that at the moment. So how do we deal with that? I'm not asking you to fix that problem. I'm just asking, what are the ways around it? What would you recommend?
So find a Google business partner. I'm not a Google business partner. But find a Google business partner, and they will be able to help with that. Usually, there's marketing agencies or there's people out there who can do that. I mean, even if you go to your local town, type in marketing in Townsville or Dubbo, and you'll find a Google business partner and have that conversation with them, because typically they will be registered with Google. So I've got a friend of mine who's registered with Google, registered with Facebook. He's had people locked out of their Facebook accounts for some random reason, and they've been fighting with Facebook bots for 2 months. He's got a phone number. He calls the person up and go, hey, this person's a client of mine now. You need to fix it, and they do. So
Okay, cool.
Find somebody. So for the listeners there's always somebody with access. Like, even though you and I can't call Google, there'll be a Google business partner out there or a marketing agency. Call them up. Hey, you Google business partner, and if I've got a problem, can you help me solve it? And if they say no, you say, cool, see you later. Call somebody who does.
Awesome. Okay. I will bear that in mind, and I will start recommending that one, because that's been more common recently than I had realized. And I've seen a lot of people on starting to say they're taking our listings down. And the only thing I can think of is that you're a small business, you're operating out of your home, they don't think you're legitimate, whatever it is. And we'll get into the AI part of it shortly, but I'm sure AI plays a huge part in all of this. Okay. Yep. So we've got sales, we've got about being personable, even if you're not a person, even if you've not got the best people skills, just being able to develop that trust, that interpersonal relationship matters a heap. If you are working like I do online and people say, well, we just want to work on chat, or we just want to work via email, it's a similar sort of thing, isn't it?
So it's incredibly difficult to build a relationship via chat or email, because it's considered and people know that the communication is considered. So I would always get on the phone or on a Zoom call or this type of call with a person. And then from a business perspective, the time in which somebody will exit the relationship is not when there's a failure and you're hustling to fix it. It's when you're quiet. And that's why a lot of agencies and businesses find themselves losing clients in December and January, because everything's going okay. Whatever's happening, and the person gets the bill for some thousands of dollars this month and goes, oh, what have they done for me lately? So it is imperative on a business to continually communicate with their customers, continually demonstrate that they're out there, they're doing things and adding value. You just got to let them know.
And even if you're busy, and this is, I know this is something I fall into, as I get so busy trying to deliver work, I forget about taking care of the people side of the business. And then someone says, well, what have you done for me? I'm like, there's a list of things I've done this month. I've been so busy. I haven't been able to, I just haven't set aside the time to communicate with you. That's why, to me, ticketing systems or tracking systems, your Trello dashboards, those sorts of things, they're worth their weight in gold, even if it's only just to put a pin in it to say you've got to email this off to your client, or you've got to ring your client and say, I've done this. This is where we're at.
It's so easy to communicate with people now. You put a Google sheet up with the things that you're doing, and you at customer, tell them that you've done it, and they'll get an email from Google saying Charly's making edits to the sheet. Like, it's so easy. It's painfully easy, and it's 1,000,000% on if you lose a customer because of poor communication, that's all on you. It's all on you now, especially these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there was one other thing that we mentioned there. I just wanted to head back to, selling. Do you have advice about still selling when you've made the sale? It's something that I've noticed recently happening, and I just wanted to see how you felt about that.
So yes, it's important to. So I have a theory, not a theory. I have a practice called "Sell today, educate tomorrow." If a person comes to a business like yours, you're in IT, you've got 25 years of experience. The person wants help with a thing, getting their server back up online or getting their emails fixed. Sell that one thing. You don't need to tell them how brilliant you are about all these other things. Just fix the problem. So if you walked into the emergency department, if I walked into I won't talk about you, I'll talk about myself. If I walked into the emergency department with a broken arm, I want my doctor to go, broken arm, let's get that fixed. I don't want him to go, well, Matthew, you're a little bit overweight and you're 50, so a diet and exercise program would be a good idea. Let me just take you through that. And so what happens, I'm like, but just fix this thing here. And so many businesses, person calls up and goes, oh, I need this fixed. You go, oh, well, when you're fixing that, we probably should look at this, this, and this, and some of these ones over here, and all of this. And what happens is the person goes, well, I didn't think about any of that. Now I've got to think about that. And if I'm thinking about that now I've become problem aware, circling all the way back, bit of a callback, as they call it in comedy, call back to our first conversation, which is now I'm problem aware. I need to go Google that and find the person who can fix that problem. So if the person has a broken arm, fix the broken arm. The person needs a tree lop, then lop the tree. Like, do the thing that they've got you there to do. Don't go ahead and on-sell all that other crap. But after they've purchased, hey, we've got a returning client deal. It's 20% discount on all new services. I noticed that your shrubbery needs some trimming, and I noticed your garden edging needs some edging. Would you like me to give you a quote on what that looks like?
Yeah, and look, that has a couple of effects on people. One is they know that you're not there to just try and increase your sale. That I do see it a lot. I'll get someone in to do a quote for me. Oh, well, we noticed this needs doing and this needs doing. I'm like, I don't need you to pay your quote. I just want this job done. This is where my budget's at. This is the urgent thing.
Yep.
And then when you go back afterwards and say, listen, while I was there, I noticed these are things that, you might want to look at. These are the things that could happen if you don't address them. And if you want, I can give you a quote for it, but if you don't, that's cool too. Yeah. And that's like, you're doing a public service at that point, and people go, oh, well, give me a quote. I've had you out before. I know you, I trust you. Let me do it. But just moving on that,
if I, sorry, I just want to finish that because I'm thinking about service providers and people and operators. The offer, the discount cards to do the first job at a discounted rate is not necessarily just to get the first deal, but also to create a relationship. So you're buying, the customer's paying you and you get the opportunity to build a relationship. So service providers that go, right, you're 50% off your first tree lopping. I'm using tree loppers a lot for some reason today, but whatever it might be, 50% off. If you do a good job and you clean up afterwards, and you're actually not an idiot, you can then put that person. Oh, and the other thing is database. Every business needs a database. I'm shocked how many cafes I go to, how many people I buy from who have no idea how to get in contact with me. It's shocking. And it takes 2 seconds. QR code, boom. Join our monthly free latte thing, or join our spring into spring garden cleanup draw. We give away one garden cleanup every spring. Give us your email address and phone number, and then boom, you're on the email database. And whenever you on a Sunday night, you're sitting there, and you send text or email, hey John, or hey, insert first name, because every database can do a variable now. Hey, insert first name. I was thinking about what your garden might look like in the next 6 months. Would you like me to come and have a chat to you about that? And boom, if you send that to 1,000 people or 100 people, 50 people, somebody's going to go, oh yeah.
Yep.
So your first job is to get your foot in there. So my consulting contracts are typically, well, I go in and fix their sales and marketing, and it's very important. So a consulting contract for me is, between $80,000 to $150,000 a year. But my first piece of work is $5,000. And I say to the customer, the reason I charge so little is because this is a first date. You need to figure out whether or not I'm a good supplier to you, and I need to figure out whether you're a good client for me.
I like it.
And so you charge for so even for IT businesses, I've consulted with a lot of IT business, or lots of IT businesses, and whatever value, so many businesses give away value at the beginning, like B2B give away a lot of value at the beginning. You go, well, what I can do is I can do a network penetration test, or I can do what are the 10,000 things you can do, Charlie? I'll do that. And you think about your sales process, something that you either do for free at the beginning to demonstrate value, or the first thing you do when you're engaging in a new project, you bring that into the sale. You go, we typically charge $5,000 for that. I want you to make sure that you can see value. I'm going to charge you $500 or $1,000 for that. Demonstrate the value, build a relationship, and then because you're now a supplier to that customer, you can then make recommendations because you're inside the building rather than trying to sell from outside of the building.
Yep. And that's why you see a lot of coaches and like people like me, free 30-minute consultation. That is really a free 30-minute consultation. You book me for that 30 minutes. I am going to give you as much value as I can in that 30 minutes because I want you to know that I'm someone you can trust and you can work with. And I want to, apart from that, it's also, we want to know that we can work together. It's a two-way thing.
Oh, very few, not every client is for every supplier, first of all. And second of all, Charlie, I want to, if I could, not that I'm coaching you, but one edit to that way of thinking is I would spend that time demonstrating know-how and capability and providing some small advice. But what I do know for sure is free advice is no advice. Free advice is the most ignored advice than anybody in the world. Like I can open up Instagram right now and find a way to get absolutely jacked in for summer. So it's winter here at the moment. So, but that's free advice. I'm not going to take it. But if I pay somebody, $100 an hour, I'm listening. So people typically listen after you've opened your wallet, after they've opened their wallet.
Yep. Got it.
So demonstrate know-how. I think Taki Moore says it, know-how with know-how. So demonstrate know-how with no actual how. Because if you start giving them advice, they go, because people can start arguing. If I go, oh, well, you want to write a sales script, you want to run some Facebook ads and do Google. Oh, well, I hate sales scripts. Facebook ads are easy. I can just, boost a post and Google ads or Google, I can just do that. Well, boosting an ad or using the basic tools that Google or LinkedIn give you, it's like buying a chocolate in the checkout line. It's not there for any other purpose than for the business to sell you one last thing before you leave.
Yep.
Thank you for joining my TED Talk once again. All you got to do is wind me up and I'll just start yapping.
That's okay. That's like putting 20 cents in the slot, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not sure actually how many young people actually get that reference either, but anyway.
Oh, goodness me. I'm demonstrating my significant age here.
Look, I had a conversation with someone the other day and I was trying to explain a concept and I said, do you know what a floppy disk is?
Oh, stop
and
it.
I just got a complete blank look and I'm like, oh, that's right. Technology has moved that far, that quickly. All right.
That's it.
I am watching our time here. I want to respect your time, and I know that you have got another meeting to get to before we finish.
Right.
After we finish here,
yep.
I think you wanted to talk a little bit about AI and all of this because I know I'm seeing a lot of customers come to me saying, "Oh, we just want to put an AI chatbot on our site. We want to just do AI this and AI that," and honestly, it leaves me cold because when you start to dig into, well, what are you looking at? Why are you trying to do it? Oh, well, they just told me it would make me money or it would save me money. So can we talk about that in the whole process of things and where you sit with it, what your recommendations are?
Got it. So one of the most successful AI implementations that's currently running is Salesforce, Agent Force, and they've added an extra $500 million a year of revenue to their business. And how they've done that is by finding tasks that were already being done and automating them, not inventing new crap to do. And so the sniff test here, if anybody's coming to Charly and saying, hey, I want an AI chatbot, cool, have you got a chatbot now? No? Well, then what problem are we solving? Oh, well, we're going to do this, that, and the other. That makes sense. But what process are we currently using a human to do, or that we're currently grinding away using, Zapier to talk to Make, to talk to this, to push, to do these things? That stuff can be automated as a first step. So then there's that. And only if what's the use case here? Let's to use a technical use a technical term. What's the user story? What does it look like? And so AI is like a V8. Let's call it a V8 engine. You don't want a V8 engine on your phone. It's just a lot of you don't need it. I use AI every single day. I want to be really clear with that. Every single day. Yep. All day, every day. I've got multiple. I've got a particular one that I use for creative writing, which is a culmination of all of the LLMs all in one place. If I need to write a viral hook, it then uses the agent kicks off and goes to Gemini. If I want to write long form, it goes over to chat. Like it's a real thing. So, but it's solving a problem that is in my business. I have to put out content every single day, and I have to write a lot of stuff for clients, and my agency writes a lot of stuff for clients. And so we use that as a facilitator of speed. That's how I think about it first. So that's the sniff test first. Is it a facilitator of speed?
So I absolutely love that. And I think the reason that works so well is your process. You know what needs to be done, and you can actually point to the bits and say, here is a pain point we can fix.
Correct.
When I see AI being sold, and it is changing now, but when it first came out, you just put a chatbot on, just do this, just do that, it's going to revolutionize things. One of the project management, task management companies has got an ad running on the streaming services, and it's like, well, you're only using 20% of your data, and if you come to us, you will be using all of your data at the press of a button. It's not that simple.
And to do what?
Yeah, why do you need it? What are you going to do with it? And how are you going to tell this engine what your data is? How much work do you have to do to be able to put that into a format that when it comes back to you actually means something? And this is what people are missing. And these adverts, I know they're trying to sell things. I know they're an emotional hook. I know all of that. But they really, like, the emotional hook to me is they annoy me because I think that people are going to get sucked in. And I don't hate using that term. They're going to get sucked in, and it's going to cost them money, and they get nothing at the end of it.
This is the outsourcing from 15 years ago to the Philippines. You need, and I have been using people from the Philippines, and they're amazing people and super capable. I've got a team of people from the Philippines and India and Indonesia. I'm not rubbishing that, but back in the day, the way it was sold is you need a personal assistant, and you got some Tyler who's now got a freaking couple of grand a month personal assistant in the Philippines. The hell for? But they bought him, and so it's the latest cool thing to make people entrepreneurs, or everybody's doing it. Why aren't you? FOMO. So yeah. But I love AI. I use it all day. I am currently writing a product that uses AI to help me do a particular function inside my business. So, I am up to the elbows in it, but and so this particular product that I'm writing will allow me to speed up a current process that I'm currently doing in my business.
Yeah, it's not
That's it.
it's not something new for you because you don't know what you need. Like I I use AI. I use it a lot. Like these podcasts, I wouldn't be able to do the number of podcasts I do if I didn't have AI to take things like take my transcripts and summarize them for me and give them back to me and say, here's the summary, here's what we think, here's what I think based on what I know about you are the key points. And I still have to go through them and go, that's not what that episode was about at all. I don't even know how you got that out of it. But it's a starting point and it makes it quicker for me because I'm not trying to start from scratch on it. I'm not trying to go through and say, where was I at? What was I doing? An hour and a half podcast. What did we talk about? What did we talk about 30 minutes ago, let alone what did we talk about now? Yeah. So AI is really, really good. So so you're talking about with businesses, take something that they're already using. Or they're already doing and see if AI can make it quicker. Is it about reducing the number of staff you have?
Rarely. It's about even Zuckerberg, who said, I will be, he said, in the next 2 years, all junior developer roles will be taken over by AI. And the interviewer thought they caught something big there and went, oh, so you're going to sack a bunch of people. He said, no, I'm going to hire a bunch of much more expensive senior developers. So his net is actually going to be headcount increase. It's about productivity.
And why is he going to do that?
Because it's no longer, you don't need to do low level stuff, but you need to do high level stuff. So I've not seen a single client reduce headcount through AI. What I have seen them do is create massively more output, far more successful output. I use AI. I had in my business, so my copywriters and my content writers are now serving more clients. They're not. I haven't sacked anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't know anybody. And if you think back to, there aren't fewer people employed today than there were 10 years ago.
Correct.
So, and 150 years ago, everybody was tilling the soil. Nobody's sad that there's no longer 100 people in a field getting skin cancer tilling soil.
Yeah.
So,
or picking fruit or harvesting the goods. I was actually going to use the car analogy. When we went from the horse and the cart to the car, or the horse and buggy to the car, people were like, oh, we're going to lose farriers. And well, okay, we did. Now we have mechanics and panel beaters and auto electricians. Right. And we've got more of those than we had farriers and all of the things that went around horse and buggies. Why? Because we've made it more accessible.
Yeah. And so, the opportunities are going to always increase. So there's, and people love to catastrophize the future, right? So at the turn of the century, there was articles in the London newspaper saying at this rate, London will be buried under 10 feet of horse poo if we don't do something about it. And then they invented the car. And it wasn't about fixing horses. It was because it was about changing, what was available and what the future might hold. So, it is not about, oh, well, everybody's going to be out of work and it's only going to be Elon and Bill who are going to have money. It's going to be, well, humans, one constant for the last maybe 100,000 years, depends on who you talk to and what Netflix series you want to watch, how long humans have been around. But it's one thing that is constant is our ability to adapt to the environment, because we're soft, squishy, our teeth aren't very good, we don't have very good claws, we're not that fast, but somehow we've made it to the top of the food chain because we're incredibly adaptable and we work as a group.
Yep. Now, I'm just going to sort of caveat all of this. I am really, really critical in my podcast about AI and about AI being implemented into business. And it's for exactly these reasons. Everything I say is about making sure that you're using it where you need to use it. Don't just get caught up in the hype. Make sure that you're using it appropriately. I'm sure you've seen it as well. AI hallucinates an awful lot.
And it's not bad to get excited about it. I implemented an AI caller. I did a webinar and said, hey, if you call, if you register for this next thing, you'll get a phone call from Joanne, the AI thing. And I booked I booked the same number of calls as when I phoned these people, but those people didn't convert into deals because they had not built a relationship with me. They built a relationship. Well, no, they hadn't built a relationship at all because they knew they were talking to an AI chatbot. So if I get a phone call from an AI chatbot, that is being hung up on. Doesn't matter who it's from. Goodbye. So,
Yep.
So I'm not saying that I'm rubbishing AI chatbots or outbound phone things. What I'm saying is, if it is functional, if it is information delivery, fine, I'll listen. But if it is trying to sell me something, I'm out.
Yep.
So I tried it. I spent some thousands of dollars building one. Put it all, got an account with Twilio, did all the things, many hours of distraction and many hundreds of dollars. And I deployed it and went, you know what, I'm out. So I turned it off.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing for people to be aware of. Now, sometimes it will work for you and sometimes it will don't, but understand that people like to deal with people. People want to know that they're talking to the person that can help them and not some invention of them or some, I don't even know how to put it, official construct. Yeah, that's it.
Which circles all the way back to an earlier point that I made about personal branding and being able to communicate like a person and a human. And so the more time you spend, any business owner spends saying things in the market to a specific group, the better.
All righty, look, we're going to get close to our time here. So why don't you tell people, first of all, where they can find out more about you and what sort of things you can do to help them? That's one of the reasons we do these podcasts.
Sure. So my best customers are businesses in the software and SaaS space who have already got product market fit. They've already got customers and they're selling. They've probably built their business through having good products and good service, and they've built on referrals. And now it's time to put the foot down on the accelerator of their business. And so it's impossible to spend money and scale referrals. You can get more by asking more, but you can't get 10x more. And also a lot of businesses, they find themselves in a situation where they might hire their first salesperson or first marketing person. The problem is, though, that unless you've got the DNA in the organization to actually do those things, you're not going to be able to guide that person to be the most effective version of themselves unless you spend a lot of money on executive level people, much like in technology, right? So in technology, they might hire somebody with some type of degree or some type of TAFE degree or some sort of understanding, or they're the person grandma calls when they need to get their Facebook password sorted. But they're not going to have the context that somebody has of yourself. So they're my customers as somebody who they've made the decision. It's time to put energy, time, and focus. And the next big thing that they've got to do is get their number of leads through the door at a level, their sales in the bank at a level, and it's time to turn that into a mechanical process in which they can rely on. So that's who I work with.
Awesome. And how can people connect with you, Matthew?
So I'm on LinkedIn. So find my name, Matthew Whyatt, on LinkedIn. I haven't catfished anybody, so I actually do look like this. And also, or you can go to my website, which is Tech Talk, as in TECHTORQUE, because I like cars and I thought Talk was a cool name.
I love it. I actually really like it. To me, because I understand what talk is, it was about, actually applying force, actually applying pressure and getting things moving. So I totally got it. I loved it.
Yeah, cool. Excellent.
So out of everything we've spoken about today, I'm going to say this morning, but it's this evening for you, I'm sure. What's the one thing that you want people to take away from all of this?
Yeah, I think the main thing that people can take away from this conversation is the part I spoke about in relation to building trust with their customers. And trust can be demonstrated a whole number of ways, as I mentioned, referrals, but also, get those Google reviews. Whenever somebody engages with me and they inquire with my business, I literally have a 25-page book of testimonials I send them. I send them video testimonials of customers that have worked with me in the past. That's what I, even though I'm working from New Jersey and I'm talking to clients in Melbourne, Sydney, and New York, they get that one of my emails is, this is how we work. This is how much it's going to cost typically. And here's a book of people who say nice things about me. So whether you're selling, trucks, tiling, or skyscrapers, if you've got the ability to demonstrate to your customers that you can be trusted, then you will get the business more often than not.
Awesome. I think it's a great thing for people to remember. And I really appreciate you taking the time with us today to talk about all of this. We are almost out of time. Like I said, I know Matthew has a meeting to get to. Guys, I hope this has been really, really beneficial for you. I know it's been great for me. I love talking about this sort of thing, and I always get value out of talking about it and other perspectives. So I hope this has been as good for you as it has been for me. I will have all of Matthew's contact details in the description, the show notes, wherever you're watching or listening to these videos. If you need help and you want someone to bounce your problems off of, if you're looking for, I don't know where to start with all of this, you can always book that free 30-minute consult with me. I would love to talk to you and see how we can work together. If this has been useful, we would appreciate it if you give the video a like. And if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. I do have my weekly podcast. I put out an episode Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays about making tech more accessible for you. Matthew, thank you for letting me do that little bit of a spiel. I do appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. Commercial reality.
It really is. And is there anything you want to leave us with? If not, we can say goodbye and say goodbye to everyone.
No, appreciate it. I just hope that people recognize that selling is not icky or scary. Selling is actually the value in selling lives in the diagnosis. And if you can help a person understand the problem more effectively, then they're going to be more likely to buy from you, because the better you understand the problem, the more likely they are to trust you to find the solution.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much, Matthew. Guys, I will see you in the next episode, whatever that is. Bye.
Thanks, Charly. Bye-bye.